This week on the Computer Chronicles, software secrets. We'll show you some of the hidden power inside Word and Excel. Adobe Photoshop is a deep program, and you'll see some of the neat tools you didn't know existed. Sometimes the source of software secrets is the old helpline. We'll show you some folks who earn their living revealing software secrets. Know what an Easter egg is? It's a software surprise, and we'll show you some of the best ones, plus the hidden secrets in computer games, some sneaky ways to get to the next level. And my pick of the week, a software secret for net surfers tired of all those ads. It's all coming up next on the Computer Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by PeopleSoft, a global supplier of enterprise application software for business, education, and government. PeopleSoft, we work in your world. Additional support by Cybersmith, wired for fun and learning, with locations in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Palo Alto, California, and White Plains, New York. By TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology news. And by TVA, Television Associates, bridging the worlds of computers and video with DVD authoring and MPEG encoding services.
Hi, and welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee. Well, does it make sense to have to buy these 5-pound books just to figure out how to use a piece of software? Today's software is complicated and powerful, but the sad truth is most users never get near 90% of the features that are hidden inside these computer programs. Today, we're going to look at software secrets, some of the cool things you can do with your computer that you'd never find out just reading the manual. And to start out, we'll look at some of the secrets hidden in the ubiquitous Office 97. And Nancy, you're the expert. You've got your own book here, Office 97.
It's a little thinner than the others.
A little thinner, fortunately, but you have some really cool secrets. So let's start with Excel. Okay. And what are you going to tell us about?
Well, Excel is one of those programs that you use for a lot of different things. You use it for spreadsheets all morning, and then you're working on pivot tables or charts. So there are a lot of things that you may want to use to customize your toolbars so that you can get at the tools you use all the time.
Right.
A lot of your viewers probably know how to customize a toolbar. They go to View, Toolbars, and Customize.
But it's a pain in the neck because then you tend to do it over and over again.
You have to go through it all again, and if you want to get it back to what it used to be, you've got to reset each toolbar. Well, there's a way around that.
You can save a customized toolbar.
You can save a customized toolbar, call that up, or the default toolbar, either one, and it saves you a lot of time.
How do you do it?
So let's take a look here. Let's say we want to take one of these functions and drag it up here to the toolbar, and take another one and drag it up, and so we're customizing a lot of things here on this toolbar.
So next time I work in this mode, I want that toolbar. How do I do it?
Right. You simply exit Excel, then you go into your Windows directory, here on our C drive, Windows, and you'll find this little file called Excel 8.
Excel 8.
It's a DLB file. It's something nobody really knows about, but you go in there and you simply rename it. And let's rename it Excel CC for Computer Chronicles, and now we open up Excel again, and let's see what we've got. Well, we've got that toolbar, but
that's sort of the default toolbar, but to get that one we just made before without recreating it, I just open that file you just created.
Under Windows, and there
Excel
it is.
Excel CC.
And it switches our toolbars.
I like that one.
Nice shortcut.
All right, another thing in Excel I want to ask about, when you get into the templates, you've got these formulas hidden there. Sometimes it's a nightmare to undo what's inside there and figure out where the formulas came from.
And
you've got a secret to that.
Well, what we call it is precedence. We have precedent cells that basically contribute to the data that's being shown in the cell. For example, on this little invoice form, you're going to have a total formula that totals
you just
a bunch
can't go in and change those numbers because it's getting those numbers from somewhere else.
It's getting the numbers from somewhere else, and sometimes you want to track that process. So there's a simple way to do that. You go into the Tools, Options, and go onto the Edit tab. And there's a setting here, Edit Directly in Cell. By default, that's chosen, and what it means is if you double-click in a cell, you can edit there instead of in the formula bar. But if you deselect that and go OK, then when you double-click in this formula cell, it highlights all the precedent cells. You get to see exactly how the formula came together.
Let's go to Word.
Okay, in Word, we have a lot of little features that make things easier, but some of them drive you crazy.
Like and some format painter, right? Which seems harder than it really is.
Well, it's not too difficult to use, but it's basically a one-function button.
Right.
You can select something that has formatting and click on the format painter, and then you can click something else and copy over all those formats, so all the sizing and font and everything.
But once you've done it, like clears it.
You've done it. So if you want to copy formats to 3 or 4 different things, you have to keep going back and back. But you don't. There's a secret. You select text you want to copy, double-click the format painter.
Double-click on format painter. That's
simple
the secret.
trick.
And then you can use it over and over again.
And you use it over and over, and you can copy it as many times as you want. When you're done, just click it again.
One of my favorites in Word is the autocorrect nightmare, which you don't want to have happen sometimes.
Absolutely.
How do you fix that? What's the secret?
Autocorrect is one of those things that they put in there to make your life easier, and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
Right?
Because what it does is it helps people out. Let's say you type TEH instead of
And it automatically makes it the, but I might want TEH.
Right, and it also does little symbol things here, like it makes see a copyright when you put parentheses around it. Well, in order to deal with that, you can do a couple of things. One is you can just select something and delete it.
But sometimes you want to. I mean, most of the times you want it to work.
Right, right. Most of the times you do. So if you've removed the entry and you've forgotten you removed the entry, you're out of luck. So what you can do, let's take this example here. ACN, if you type that, it's going to figure you messed up the letters and you really want can.
Right.
No, you don't always want can. Let's say you have a company name, ACN.
Okay.
And you want to type ACN.
And it's going to turn it into
It's going to turn it into can.
What do I do?
Control Z.
Undoes autocorrect.
Just absolutely
We're
right
out of
away
time,
on
Nancy.
the fly.
That's great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, well, one of the most powerful software applications out there is Adobe Photoshop. It's full of cool tricks that you may have never discovered. So we've invited an expert here to reveal some of the software secrets in Photoshop. How you doing, Rich?
Good to see you, Stuart.
This is 5.0.
Yes, it is.
And there's a lot of cool stuff in there that is not necessarily easy to figure out.
True.
Show us some examples.
Well, with the latest version of Photoshop, Adobe has added a lot of new features that make it easier to use.
Yeah.
And our focus is on usability at PC computing. So
Okay.
let me show you some of these tools. We've got now a magnetic lasso tool. You've always had the lasso tool, but now the magnetic lasso tool makes it easier to select elements such as, let's grab this island.
Got an odd
back
shape
over
like
here.
that little mountain.
Yeah, now
island.
ordinarily these are pretty hard to grab because look at all these jaggies. Well, now with the magnetic lasso, you can just kind of drag it along here and Photoshop figures out that's what you want to select. Okay, so that's the magnetic
So I don't have to do the
tool.
perfect little drawing around the thing.
Right. If you notice, I did this at 66%, and I wasn't in there fine. Now I can move this.
Okay.
Just cut this. We'll bring this down here, and then I'll show you another great secret in Photoshop 5. It's the 3D transform tool. If you select the filters here under render, and we'll go to 3D transform, they've built in a great little, somewhat rudimentary, but useful 3D tool. So if you're familiar with Star Trek, we'll do a little Borg cube here, and I can move this cube around, and you'll see the image maps to that three-dimensional shape. I can also spin it around for some rather interesting effects.
Pretty cool,
So we'll save this out, and this will lead me to another secret I want to show you in Photoshop 5 while this renders. That's the text tool. They've really improved the text tool in terms of text effects and easy editing. So we'll go ahead and click here on the text tool, and let's say we want to add some text here. Just for purposes of test, we'll put the word test in here. We can fit this in the window so we see what it is. Pick a color. How about a shade of red over here? We'll make it red. Now, we can plop that in there. It now exists as a text layer. I can move this here. Let's center it. There are some new effects in Photoshop 5 I can apply to this text.
Okay, so let's say I want to drop shadow.
Yeah, let's do a drop shadow then. We'll go up here under Layer, Effects, and look at all these. These are brand new effects that Adobe has built into Photoshop 5.
Okay.
We'll go to Drop Shadow.
Make it a nice big one.
Let's do a dramatic drop shadow, say 30 or so.
Gotcha. All right,
how about 29?
That'll do.
There, okay.
All right, now the real secret, though, is if I want to change the words in the text.
True. I mean, what if we want to change this to text rather than text? Now, there are a couple different ways to do it. In the past, you would have to redo the entire layer. Now, if you'll notice here, I can just select that letter. Let's make it text.
And it remembers the effect you laid in before.
True. I didn't have to kill the whole layer. That's a big time saver. Now, there are 3 other things here. I can edit right on the screen. I can click on this layer effect. This gives me the layer options that have always been there. Now, here's something that Photoshop users might not know.
So depending on where you click on that bar, you get to a different aspect of the layer.
True. So here's another way. I can just click on this blue bar. This brings me back to text. And finally, here, you'll notice this little F icon.
The effect you apply to the text.
This is the new effect. And this is brand new in Photoshop 5.
And now you're back in the effects.
Here's a quick drop-down window.
So instead of having to drill down and find it all, it's right there depending on where you click.
They've really done a good job making it easier to use because Photoshop is the leading image editing product on the market.
And you just have to discover all these things, right? Thank you very much, Rich.
Thanks, Stuart.
Well, the world of computer gaming is notorious for its hidden software secrets. Discovering these little secrets can mean the difference between getting to that next level or going to bed frustrated. Revealing these secrets is the delicate task of the people who answer the helplines at computer game software companies.
Here are some of the secret codes for the Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit on the personal computer.
Computer gameplay is competition. Whether you like sports games, battle games, or role-playing games, you are competing against someone or some machine. But what if you could get an advantage against your opponent, say a faster car or better weapons? Well, you can if you know the right code word. Electronic Arts has added these secrets to its games, and they are available for the asking. They're called cheats, and they can be found on the EA website or at the end of a telephone.
In role-playing games, some of the cheats that you might get are additional lives, or action games you might get weapons that other people don't have that give you a competitive advantage. Power-ups that give you greater strength or invincibility for 30 seconds or things like that.
Cheats are code words or passwords that players type in at the game's menu or options screen. For example, in the racing game Need for Speed 3, players can get additional cars by typing in Jag or Merc. There's even a code to increase the vehicle's performance and to jump to a different course. Battle game cheats might provide unlimited supplies of armor or just let you jump to the next level of play.
Essentially, part of it is the reward structure of being able to perform and feel like you're getting that trophy, the pat on the back, what have you. And by being given something tangible that you can have that someone else can't have is a way to stand out from everyone else.
The idea of cheats began in the fertile minds of programmers and artists.
When products go through a filing stage, the two core teams that work on the game, the artists and the programmers, are dependent on each other. But when an artist group is working on making changes as an outcome of what the programming group has done, the programming group has some time on their hands. And everyone's imagination runs a little wild during the development process, and they get a chance to look at easy things that they can do with the existing game code to maybe make it more fun and put these into cheats.
But cheats can also originate on the other side of the keyboard from the players themselves.
Some of the feedback we get is so imaginative, it wouldn't make sense in the context of the game as it stands, but you know, if it's a cheat code, then it's sort of fair game. You can put in what you want, you can have whatever sort of artistic license you need.
Two of the most popular computer games now are Tomb Raider and Rainbow Six. Not easy games to beat. So if you're stuck and looking for a little secret help, we have two experts here to help you. And we know you have to concentrate a lot when you're playing these games. So Don, you're going to play, and Dallas, you're going to do the talking so Don can concentrate on beating the game here. I want to ask you first about Tomb Raider 2, which is actually what we're talking about. I've given up on Tomb Raider many times because I've just gotten to a dead end, couldn't get there. Mission 13, there's a place where it looks like you just can't figure out how to get any further, and you've got the secret answer to that.
That's right. In Mission 13, like a lot of the other missions in the game, there are 3 items that you need to find, 3 jade dragons. And if you successfully find those items, it'll actually unlock an additional weapon or ammunition at the end of the level.
All right, so what's the secret to getting where you've got to be to find those darn jade things?
It's a secret that applies to playing a lot of games, and that is an ability to look at the environment and to try to pick out anything that looks a little unusual, anything that looks like it just shouldn't be there.
Yes, there's something a little different. It must do something. Let me figure out what it does.
Exactly.
Huh? All right,
now,
so what's the secret here?
Well, Don's going to show us here. If you get to just the right angle, where Laura is looking up there, if he comes around.
Yeah, so basically I don't see anything now, but again, if you just happen to look the right way, if you can turn around, Don, so we can see that. You can see that.
And there you start to see that
maybe that looks like a ladder or something. Huh?
Exactly right. It looks very much like the environment, but it's just a little bit different.
So try to climb onto it.
So what he needs to do is to head up there.
The deal is you got to jump up on that ladder, Don?
Yeah, that's what we want to do right here.
All right, see if you can do it. Give it the old big jump. Whoop. What's the secret, Don?
Secret. It's just a matter of the timing of the jump. You really have to be under the ladder. It does take some...
Right under the ladder.
Right. Okay, so you don't want to run there. You want to
straight up.
Walk. And then...
Not so easy to do. No wonder I can't beat this game. Nobody can beat it.
It's a pretty tough part. It does
Oh,
take
you
some
did it.
time.
All
There we
right.
go.
All right. So get up the ladder. All right. So the secret is finding the ladder. Next secret is figuring out how to get up on the darn
Yeah,
ladder.
it's pretty tough.
But then there's even more, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. It's going to get a little more complicated because, as you'll see, when Don reaches the top of the ladder, what he has to do is to jump, let himself fall a little ways, and jump from the ladder. This will take him to the alcove.
Because you've
where
got to
the
land in the
dragon
right
is.
spot when you jump off the ladder.
That's exactly right.
And what kind of jump is it then, Don?
It's a double jump in which
And there it is.
And
what
there
you
it
want to
is.
do is, as you're on the ladder, you want to drop, fall down, and hit your space bar, your jump button
Okay.
twice.
All right, let's go to Rainbow Six now. And why don't you set up the scenario for us? What secret you're going to give us in Rainbow Six?
Well, Rainbow Six is a very different game from Tomb Raider 2 in that it requires a lot more stealth and a lot more sneakiness.
Right.
What Don's going to show us is the beginning of Mission 2.
Okay.
One of the very most important things at the beginning is that you're going to have to take out a couple of sentries. They're guarding a house where terrorists are holding a hostage. So Don's doing that right now.
All right, so we're trying to get inside this place and rescue hostages.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Once you've taken out those sentries, it's time to rush into the house.
Presumably you're going to find some more defenders.
Exactly.
And there's going to be a shoot 'em up there.
Exactly.
All right, so what's the secret then?
Well, if you're having a lot of trouble with that, there's actually what we call a God mode, a cheat code that you can enter into the game that will make all of the members of your team invulnerable.
So you won't die.
So you won't die.
That sounds like it'll make the game a little bit easier. All right, so but you got to get inside first. Is that the deal?
No, you can really
You can do it
activate
at
that
any
at
time.
any time.
Okay, but just for the fun of it, we'll go inside where it gets a little bit harder.
Exactly.
All right, so how do I make my guys invulnerable now so they can't kill me?
Done?
Typing Team God, and that's it.
Team God. Just hit the apostrophe first,
Yeah,
and then type in Team God,
apostrophe Team God,
and then.
and they
do
can't
that.
kill you.
They can't kill you.
All right,
That's all.
sort of defeats the purpose of the game, but if you want to win,
But it's there if you're
that's
stuck.
one way to do it. Guys, thank you very much. Well, an Easter egg is a hidden little program buried somewhere inside a software application that does something you wouldn't expect it to do. And fortunately, there is one guy who's taken the time to document the most interesting Easter eggs, and he's written a book about it, Easter Egg Software Surprises. And David, you're the author of the book. I'm glad you took the time to do this. Why this idea of Easter eggs? Why is there this stuff hidden that most people can't find?
That's a good question. And a lot of programmers basically don't get credit for the software they write. It's just the company that you see.
Right.
And this is a programmer's way of sneaking in a little bit of their personality, so to speak, or some credit.
And sometimes they're actual names,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes they're actual names.
All right, why don't you show us a couple of examples of some of your favorite Easter
Sure.
eggs?
Microsoft Office has several good Easter
Even
eggs.
something boring like Office, we've got
Even
Easter
something
eggs.
like Office.
All right, so we're in Excel.
We're in Excel. Now, Easter eggs often have a complex key pressing
All right.
sequence to do, so
So
we'll
what are we
do
doing?
this. We'll hit F5,
F5.
then type X97 colon L97, a little play on XL there.
X97:97.
And then Tab,
Tab.
Control Shift, click
Control
on the
Shift.
Chart Wizard. Quite a lot to go
Whoa,
through, huh?
this doesn't look like Excel anymore.
It's not Excel anymore.
It's kind
Well,
of
it
a
is
flight
actually.
simulator, huh?
Exactly.
So what are we doing here?
We can fly around, you know, bank up and down, left and right, and then we're going to just fly around a little bit.
So this is somewhere 3 in the morning. These programmers were going a little crazy, and they said, hey, let's drop this inside
right,
here.
exactly. And
Ah,
what do we
but-
see over here?
They put their names in there.
Exactly.
That was the point
That
of the
was the
Easter
point
egg.
of the Easter egg.
Now, there's several hidden in Windows itself, right?
Yeah, that's true. We can show you one right now
Okay.
in the screensaver. If you click on Properties, go to
Yeah.
the screensaver. There's a 3D text screensaver where
Right.
you can just type text.
Thing usually says OpenGL flying around, but you can change that.
But you can type any text you want, except if you type volcano.
Right. Volcano. What happens?
We'll preview it full screen here.
It doesn't say volcano.
It doesn't say
It
volcano.
says Garibaldi.
And Hood,
Hood.
And a bunch of different mountains.
Oh, or volcanoes, or former volcanoes. Or evident. Okay, well, that's a cute little secret.
Yeah,
All right. PowerPoint even has some in there, right?
even PowerPoint. And the one thing about the PowerPoint egg is you might even stumble across this by accident because
Okay.
it's so easy to activate.
So how do you get it?
Just go to Help,
All right.
About Microsoft PowerPoint,
Okay.
hold Control, and click on their logo.
And what is this?
And this is a little fireworks display of
Oh,
the
little hidden
PowerPoint
credits
team.
again.
Mhm, exactly.
Here's who we are.
Exactly.
All right, there's one other cool one some people know about that's actually inside Word when you play around with a certain phrase in the thesaurus. Show us
That's
that one.
true.
It's a little nasty.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So we'll pop up Microsoft Word.
Okay.
And then you type something like, I'd like to see you naked.
Yeah.
And then you just highlight it and
Right.
go to the thesaurus. And the suggestions for a synonym is
I'll drink to that. And some people do things like, I'd like to kill Bill Gates and other little things like that. But it always says, I'll drink to that.
Exactly.
All right, now, David, you have a website, actually, that is like a master compendium of all these Easter eggs. Can you get your website up here and we can take a look at it?
It's been running for about 3 years now, and people have submitted Easter eggs for all sorts of programs.
So, I mean, you must have, what, hundreds of Easter eggs?
Hundreds of Easter eggs and everything.
So if anybody finds one or some programmer would like to get it known, he posts it on your website.
Exactly.
So let's say we go to a catalog. And what would we find here? Okay, so you can look at what platform you're on.
Platforms you're on. So
let's go to applications on the PC.
Sure. And here we come up with a big list of
my God, look at them all.
I mean, this is just tons of them. And you can just pick any of them. Like, say I have Lotus Word Pro.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple.
A little rating on how good an egg it is, what it does, and how you get in there.
You can vote on it. And
sounds
give your
cool.
own opinion.
David, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that's our look at software secrets. I'll be back in just a moment with my pick of the week.
Windows 98 comes with a really cool diagnostic utility called Microsoft System Information. Take a look. On the left pane of System Information, you have resources, components, network information, all of the information you need to troubleshoot Windows 98. As you can see, there's a lot more information here than you really need or really want to know. But it's all here, and if you're looking for troubleshooting information, you'll find it in System Information. From the Tools menu, you get all of the diagnostic utilities, and there are a lot of new ones, in Windows 98, including the Windows Report tool, which allows you to scan your system and generate a report on what's happening at the most technical level. Things like the System File Checker, a registry checker which scans your registry looking for problems, the Automatic Skip Driver Agent, which allows you to go through and sort of troubleshoot what may be happening with your drivers. Dr. Watson, an old favorite that's been around since the Windows 3.1 days, which allows you to report information to Microsoft. The System Configuration Utility, which, look at this, it goes through your WinINI and SystemINI and allows you to edit these very easily within this dialog box. I wish I had this back in Windows 3.1 when I really needed to edit the WinINI file. And ScanDisk, which is an old favorite from Windows 95, and the Version Conflict Manager, which looks for software that's crashing up against each other and competing for resources on your system. Those are the diagnostic utilities that are all available from System Information, and it's a really nice feature. Back to you, Stuart.
Now for my pick of the week. With everyone struggling to find a way to make money on the internet, ISPs and content providers are getting more and more clever about how to foist ads in front of your face. One of the techniques is called the pop-up. You know, that annoying window that opens up even though you didn't ask for it, offering you an unbelievable deal on some software or gadget or insurance. Then it's up to you to do a kind of Where's Waldo search for the tiny no thanks button so you can get on with your work. These pop-ups take time to load, they cover up what you really want to look at, and they're just plain annoying. Well, one of the inventors of the pop-up is AOL. But to their credit, AOL is one of the few online companies that actually gives you the option to prevent pop-ups. This is another little software secret. If you don't want to be annoyed by these constant product offers, here's what you do. Go to keyword Marketing Preferences. Click on the pop-up button, and then just check the box that says, No, I don't want to receive pop-ups, and you're done. Next time you log on to AOL, you'll get right to the main menu with no annoying ads to slow you down. That's it for this edition of the Chronicles. We'll be back here again next week with more of the latest on hardware, software, and the internet. Thanks for joining us. I hope we'll see you here again.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by PeopleSoft, a global supplier of enterprise application software for business, education, and government. PeopleSoft, we work in your world. Additional support by Cybersmith, wired for fun and learning, with locations in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Palo Alto, California, and White Plains, New York. By TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology news. And by TVA, Television Associates, bridging the worlds of computers and video with DVD authoring and MPEG encoding services.
To purchase a videotape copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-310-7850. Please specify the show number and the topic.
Next week on the Computer Chronicles, 3D graphics. We'll show you the difference a 3D accelerator card can make on your computer. You'll find out how to use 3D objects in presentations, ads, or web pages. We'll show you a great new 3D modeling tool called Poser 3. And want to know how they do all those cool 3D effects in TV commercials? We'll show you the software. Plus a look behind the scenes at PDI, the computer animation shop that made the movie Ants. And my pick of the week, a webcam that doesn't require the web. It's all coming up next week on the Computer Chronicles.